Hello and welcome back to the course. Sorry for the delay, but as you can see by the title of the video, we're going to be doing some general refactors today, and more than likely for the next video. Truth is, as much as I'd like to just give you the perfect course, that's not really what development is like. I wanted to teach you and show you both the success and struggle, like kind of the process as a whole, rather than just kind of tell you to do this or that, because game dev is an amazing journey and it has its ups and downs, and learning both of them is kind of like knowing what to expect is a really good thing. With that said, I am currently working on the actual upgrade system for the game and a few other projects, so once again, I apologize for the delays, but today we get to tighten up our code and get it feeling much better to work with. So where do we actually start with this? Well, we're going to be starting with the health system. Yes, we just did a video on the health system, I know. But that was a bit rushed and I kind of disliked the quality of the video and the actual code itself, so let's fix that and actually make it make some sense. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, with how we've implemented it so far, it's kind of like taking the triangle and trying to jam it into the circular hole. If we hit it hard enough, it actually goes into the hole, but it shouldn't, and it just doesn't look right, and it doesn't really function too well. And if I actually run the game here, and I go and get hit a bunch of times, you'll see we still have 1 coin remaining when we die, and then there was a lot of other finicky things with the code in general. So how do we actually want to change this? And what do we want to do about this? Well, we're going to go down into our entity container where we have our base coin. We're going to go and open up the scene for this. And now we're going to make some changes for the coin itself, because I'm going to be, what I think is going to be a good idea, is we're going to remove a lot of code from the coin. So all the coin is going to have to really do is hold its own value, and a few other things, and that's something more for future. But it needs to hold a value. Then we're going to have another handler that can attach to the player specifically that will handle the collection and pickup of items and kind of discern from the information it gets what it should do with those items. I think that's going to be a much better way of handling this stuff. And it allows us to kind of move into how we want to connect things like the health manager and the collection system, things like that. So let's actually go and sort this out. First what we want to do is click on the base coin. We're going to go and check our collision layers and see what it's looking for. Okay, so on the collectible layer, and it's in the player or looking for the player mask. Now I'm going to go to node, groups, and I'm going to add a group to this. I'm going to call this group collectible. A good idea is to not capitalize your groups, that way you can kind of quickly type them out, unless you really want to keep in mind that you have a capital letter. So yeah, have it in a group called collectible. Perfect. Now let's go into the actual coin itself, and we are going to do the easiest thing possible. We're going to just kind of nuke all of this code. And then I'm going to hit Control S and save, and the code is gone. The base coin only has one thing, and it's the value of the coin. This is something that will also eventually get changed, but for now, this is all we need, just a value. Now, if I go and press run, and we go and run over this coin right here, nothing is happening, which is perfect because it's not Q3ing itself, and we're not having any other coin-related things happen. With that done, we are going to go and move into the collection handler real quick. So let's go and make a new scene of other node. It's going to be an area 2D node. We're going to rename this to the, actually let me go to the 2D view here. There we go. Now we'll rename this to the collection handler. So this is going to handle the picking up of items or the collecting of items. Let's hit Control S and save under the scenes folder, under player, because, or not under player, under handlers, under player, there we go, because it's a player specific scene. We'll hit Control S and save one more time, just triple check, hit Control A and add, and we're going to add a collision shape to this. We don't actually need to add a shape to it in general, we just want the collision shape to be part of the scene. And now we're going to add a script to our collection handler root. So let's do that. Now we'll go and extend a class underscore name of collection handler. And we're going to need kind of a few things. The first one we're going to want is access to the ready function so we can connect to specifically the area entered signal. Now, why are we doing the area entered signal? Well, the things that this is going to be picking up or interacting with will actually be areas themselves, so we want to make sure and check that we are only checking for areas. This will mean it will stop colliding, or will not in general collide with things like the player character body or the enemy character bodies. So we can just do area underscore entered dot connect, and we can type in here on underscore area underscore entered. Then what I do here, by the way, is I hit Control Shift whilst my cursor here is at the very end of the line. So I hit Control Shift and press the left arrow, and that will highlight the entire string for me. And then I hit Control C to copy. Just one of those things and little habits you kind of get into as you code more and more, and as you learn the shortcuts and stuff. Just improve your speed and things like that. Now we're going to create a new function for this. So this will be func on area or on underscore area underscore entered. It's going to take the name or parameter of area, which will be of type area 2D. It'll have a void return type, and right now I'm just going to write pass. Now I'm going to write pass so I can just do a quick refresher on why we are using the on area entered signal and how I know it has these parameters. So to find this out, all you have to do is click on the collection handler's root scene, which is the area 2D. Go to the node and then signals, and you'll see here that there are a bunch of signals for it. We are using area entered, and it shows it takes the parameter area area 2D. So that's how we figure out what things it actually takes in. So now we know that this is taking in an area and we have our parameter set up. We want to go and do a check for this. We're just going to do a simple isInGroup check. So we'll write if, more specifically, we're going to make check and see if it isn't in the group. So we'll go not, or exclamation mark. We'll use an exclamation mark for the not. Then we'll go area dot is underscore in underscore group. And now we just have to pass in the string name. Now this is why I say it's always a good idea to remember how you've set up your group names. If you have a capital C, make sure you put a capital C here, like so. So collectible. If you don't have a capital C, make sure you don't use a capital C. So that is our group collectible. To triple check and make sure myself, I'm going to go to the base coin. I'm going to click on the base coin, go into groups, and make sure, yes, collectible, done. Now I can actually copy that, and I can do this, paste, there you go. So that is collectible, done. End that with a colon to actually encase this for us. So if this is not in the group of collectible, what do we want to do? Well, that means we actually know that we don't want to interact with this in any way. We don't actually care about it if it's not in this group. So we are going to just return out. Now we can, if we really want to, for debugging purposes, do a print statement and then just be like, I don't know, right, this is not a collectible, like so. I cannot spell the word collectible today. Collectible, there we go, T. Yes, it's right there. I don't question me right now. But yes, we could just do print statements like this for debugging purposes, but we don't actually need one of those. So I'm going to delete that. Hit Control S and save. I will run you through good methodology for debugging things when we kind of get around to implementing something along those lines. We'll be implementing a really big thing about how we're going to keep track of all the different types of data and things that move through with a custom debugging menu and a few other things. That way, in future projects, you can kind of learn how to set them up yourself. If this is not in the area or in the group of collectibles, we want to return and do nothing. We don't want anything to do with that area. And then we'll do one more thing. We'll check if the area dot value. So where is the value coming from? Well, we know specifically the base coin has a value. So this is a bit of a dangerous check, but we're going to go if value does not equal null. Now, I've seen this kind of work multiple ways. If the value doesn't actually exist on an area, it can work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I've had some weird things with this. And if we really want to, we can actually go and check. And we can go print, let's go print beans. That's one of my favorite things to print. If it doesn't have value, or if value does not equal null, print beans. And we'll do one more for if it equals null, we'll print, let's go peas. Why not? Hit Control S and save. Now we're going to go over to our character just to check these. We'll do return statements actually in these if statements to make sure no more code gets ran. Not really necessary at the bottom, but just have it. So let's go down to our player entity scene. Going to go Control-Shift-A and add, and we're going to add that new collection handler that we have. Hit Control-S and save. Go to the 2D scene. Now I'm going to go down to the scene tree here, left click on the collection handler, hit editable children, left click on the collection shape, go over to it in the inspector, and we'll give it a shape of the circle collision. Now we're just going to move this up, center it, hit Control-S and save. That's roughly a decent position for now. Now I'm going to go hit play. I'm going to go touch the coin, and as you can see, nothing happens. Now that would be because the collection handler here isn't looking for anything specific. Now good news is this doesn't need to exist on any layer, but it does need to be looking for the collectible layer specifically. So layer can be nothing, but the mask needs to be on the collectible layer, or whatever layer the collectibles are on. So let's go find out. And there you go. It printed the word beans. So once again, what is beans for us? Beans is the value does not equal null. Okay, let's go and hit Control-X and then Control-S and save on the base coin so we can remove the value in here. Let's go see if this crashes our code. And it does. Now, why does it crash our code? Well, that's because value doesn't exist at all. And that's the kind of danger to doing this check. If the value just doesn't exist, then it doesn't really know what to do with that. For now, we don't need to concern ourselves with that too much. So what we can do is just use this check and make sure our coin has its value. I will be going over some really specific types of checks in the future that we can kind of replace this with. But for now, I just want this to be a little bit more refined than it was before. So with this check happening, if the value does not equal null, what we can do here is we can now do specific kind of logic, right? We can actually start calling things like we can do area.q3, not q3 draw, q3, there we go. And if this actually functions the way we want it to, we can just go along, touch the coin, and the coin gets deleted. Perfect. So what else do we want to do? Well, we want to actually go and emit a signal, right? We want to go and emit that collected signal that we had set up that the coin itself was doing. So we can go signal bus dot on underscore collectible collected dot emit. Oh wait, we had a full function for that actually. Emit on collectible collected, and then we pass through area dot value. Hit Control-S and save. Go and play the game. Pay attention to our coin counter and see it updated back to 3 after we took a hit. So what I'm actually going to do real quick, because the enemy there is getting on my nerves by hitting me, I'm going to move the coin across and then touch it. We're up to 4. Done. So that is the really basic kind of code that we've got for our collection handler at the moment. It's going to need to actually interact with the health though, because with our coins being the thing that actually give or take our health away, we're going to need to be using our health handler and accessing our health handler from this specific collection handler and increasing our health via the coins collected, as well as increasing the amount of coins we have. So to do that, we're going to come up the top here and we're going to go at export, and then we're going to use the var, and we'll call this the health underscore handler, because we're going to want access to the health handler. So health handler, type it as the health handler, set it equal to null. And now under in this if check here, which I'm going to go back on pretty much everything that I've just said, and I'm going to remove this if check, because as of right now, there is nothing in our code that actually requires the checks to be a thing anyway. It just needs to make sure it's in the collectible, so we don't need to worry about that. Now with this done, we actually need to go and call our health handler, and then we need to actually give ourselves health. Now, what we haven't actually done here is set or created a get health or set health function, right? So within our health handler, what we can actually do here is we have the set max health function. Now, this is a great function, but truthfully, we don't need pretty much any of this code. We don't even need the parameter inside of here. That's kind of one of the places I went quite wrong. Instead, what I can actually do is after we set the current health equal to max health, we can just check if the type, so the type of the actual player or the type of the character that we're attached to, so using our exported enum types here, we can check the type and see if it is equal to player. And if the type is equal to player, all we're going to have to do is use the signal bus and then use dot emit, and we're going to emit the onCollectible collected signal. And then all we need to pass through here is the max health. And now with this, we can go and into our ready function, like so. So we can go to our ready function, we can go underscore ready, and then we can just use set underscore max health. Now this doesn't actually solve the little problem that we're having if we go back into our collection handler of giving ourselves a way of healing or increasing our health amount. But we'll dive into that in 1 second. I just want to go up to the coin counter here, and I want to remove this ready function set string number. Now I'm going to hit Control S and save. And then I'm going to go into our 2D scene for our actual coin counter here. So if we go down into our UI coin counter, we can see that the text label is currently set to 9999. I'm going to change this to 0 for now, and we'll hit play. And you can see our coins immediately get set to 6. That's perfect, but why is it getting set to 6? It shouldn't be getting set to 6. If we go back to main under our, if we go to our player entity, under the health handler, you can see that the max health is set to 3. So why is it being set to 6? At what point is our max coins 6? Well, if we remember correctly, and we go to our managers, and then our collectible manager, we can see here that the current coins collected is equal to 3. So let's hit Control S and save, set that to 0, hit play, we now have 3. Now let's go jump into an enemy, and we die when it says 1. We don't want that. And if we remember correctly, and we go back to our health handler, somebody actually pointed this out before. This is a problem. We are double setting or double removing the damage here, or we're doing double the damage here. We don't want that. So we can remove that one line, go back in, go and click the button, go and give it a test and check. And now we're getting counted down correctly to 0 health. Now that is pretty much most of the changes that I actually wanted to make. That sorts out a lot of the kind of how health and damage functionality, but we still need to solve one issue. You'll see here that we're getting this coin increase. Now, why are we getting this coin increase? Well, we're emitting this, but our health value isn't technically increasing. So if I do this and then go run into the monster here, you'll see we now have 1 coin remaining, but we still died. That's because we need to create a handle healing function for our health handler. That's really, really simple. We just go func handle underscore healing. We just, once again, give it a value of type int, give it no return type, and all we do is take the current health and then go plus equals and value. Hit Control S and save. Now we can go back into our collection handler where we're touching the coin and doing all the fun things. And just before we queue free the coin, we can grab the health handler we gain or create an exported variable for. And we can go dot handle healing and then pass through the area dot value. And just before we queue free, actually, what I'm going to want to do is put the queue free at the very bottom here, just as a little order of operations thing. Make sure everything that requires the area actually does its thing, and then it queue frees itself. Now I can hit play. We can go and check this and see that we are crashing. Now, why are we crashing? That is probably because if I go to the health handler here, or sorry, if I go to the collection handler here, I completely forgot to assign the health handler. So let's go and try that one more time. Okay, we picked up one more coin. Let's go jump on this spiky dude in the corner having a heart attack. And our health and damage are now completely sorted and set. We've gone through, we've changed the coin counters, 2D scene stuff here. If we go down to the coin counter label, this can be at 0 or it could be at 99999. It doesn't matter what you set it to now, it will always default to 3. And we can now change our character's starting health without having to do any weird changing of multiple different scenes. We can just go to the max health on our health handler here, and we can set this to 5. We can press start, and it'll update to 5. I personally like 3. We will leave it at 3. Now, if we wanted to really go a bit further with this, what we could do, of course, is set another variable. Instead of max health, we could set it to the starting health, and that's also entirely fine. What I can do is I can just go and create, well, I could actually remove the exported variable for max health. Let's go and move this down here, and then I can go and do an export var for the starting underscore health. We'll set that equal to an integer, set it equal to 0, there we go. And then in the set max health function, we can just go max health is equal to the starting health, and then of course current health is equal to max health, and then it'll just do the same thing. This isn't entirely necessary, but if you don't want your max health to be modifiable at any point, and you just want it to be the, you want it just the starting point to just be it and it's done, you can just do this. It's just one extra step. It doesn't entirely matter too much. We can go down to the player and then go to the health handler. We now have starting health. Let's set this to 5, hit play, see that our coins are now still updated, go jump on the spiky dude, once again having a heart attack, and let our health tick down and we die. This is a much cleaner and more efficient way of doing kind of all of the things that we were doing before. We remove a consistent check for our health in our physics process. We don't actually need the player interacting with the health handler or the collection manager anymore, so I can actually remove those variables. Removes some weird injected dependencies that we did there. The health handler functioning completely fine. The health handler is fine. It's now got a new functionality for handling healing. So if we ever want to do some healing on different character types, we can do this. We can go down into our hitboxes and hurtboxes, and well, they're all doing the same thing. All they're doing is calling handle damage, and they're just checking from there. So they'll do handle damage, this will go through, it will do the things that it needs to do, and that's it. I think this is as far as we will go. This is much, much more improved than it was before. It's a lot easier to use. And yeah, thank you for watching. Once again, we'll be doing another refactor next time. Next time we'll be handling movement, and we will be... I'll answer a few questions about why we're using Delta for what we're currently using it for, and a few other things, but we will be giving it a much better and smoother moving system. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have had a great game dev journey. See you then.